Welcome back to the Wheelhouse. Today we're talking about a bike that has always looked like it should come with its own theme music, and somehow still manages to act like a dependable daily rider. When you hit the starter, the Honda Fury, and yeah, when people type 2026 Honda Fury into the search bar, what they're really asking is the factory chopper era coming back? And if it does, is the Fury still the one? Because the Fury is one of those motorcycles that never fully leaves the conversation. Even when it's not the hottest new thing on the showroom floor, it lives in people's heads. You see one roll by and you don't confuse it for anything else. That long front end, that low stance, the skinny tall front wheel, the stretched silhouette, it's basically Honda saying we can do custom too, and then actually committing to the proportions. Now, quick reality check before we go any further, depending on your country. The exact 2026 details may vary, and I'm not going to sit here and invent specs that haven't been officially confirmed. Where you live, what we can do is talk about what the Fury has always been, why it has a loyal following, what the riding experience is actually like, and what a modern Fury would need in 2026 to feel current, without losing the whole point. And the whole point is simple. The Fury gives you chopper energy without chopper drama. That's the magic trick. Traditional choppers look amazing. They also tend to come with compromises that you only learn about after the honeymoon phase. Finicky starting, questionable wiring, weird brake feel, uncomfortable ergonomics, and that constant sense that every ride is also a small, mechanical negotiation. The Fury shows up with the look, but underneath it is Honda engineering. Fuel injection, liquid cooling, predictable manners, and a platform designed to actually be used. So what does the Fury feel like in the real world? First thing you notice is the seating position. It's low, like both feet planted low for a lot of riders. And that does two things. One, it makes it less intimidating at stoplights and in parking lots. Two, it puts you into that laid-back cruiser posture, where your hips are low, your arms are forward, and you're basically sitting in the bike instead of on top of it. If you've ever wanted that long and low chopper stance, without building one in a garage, this is exactly what you're buying. Second thing you notice is the length. The Fury is stretched and you feel that at slow speeds, it's not a tiny bike that you just flick around with zero thought. Tight U-turns and parking lot maneuvers ask for a little planning and a little technique. If you're the kind of rider who likes to whip a motorcycle around, like a bicycle, this is not that, but once you get moving, that stretched geometry starts to pay you back with stability. It wants to cruise, it wants smooth inputs, it wants long, relaxed lines through corners rather than quick left, right snap transitions, and that's where a lot of people get the theory wrong. They assume raked out means bad handling. No, it means different handling. On the highway, it can feel planted and calm, the kind of bike that tracks straight and doesn't feel nervous in town. You adapt to it, and once you do, it's not some unrideable showpiece. It's a motorcycle, a real one. Now let's talk about the engine character, because this is another place where the Fury's reputation is more interesting than the internet. Arguments: the Fury isn't trying to be a horsepower monster. It's a V-twin cruiser with a focus on torque and smoothness, roll-on power, easy acceleration, and that relaxed feel, where you don't have to wring it out to make progress. The delivery is friendly, not boring friendly. It does what you ask without surprising you. And on the street, that's a feature. So if you're looking at the Fury in 2026, you're probably in one of three groups. Group 1, you want the look. You want the is that custom conversations at gas stations. You want a bike that looks like a statement even when it's parked. Group 2, you want a cruiser that you can actually live with. Start it, ride it, park it, repeat. Minimal drama. Group 3, you had one before or you've always wanted one, and you're hoping the idea of the Fury survives the modern era. And honestly, I think it can, because the Fury's concept is timeless. People have always liked choppers. What changed is that people don't always have the patience for chopper ownership. The Fury fills that exact gap. Now, if Honda is bringing it back or refreshing it for 2026, what would make the most sense without messing up the formula? First, keep the silhouette. Don't modernize the Fury into looking like every other cruiser. The rake, the wheel, the stance, that's the identity. If you change those proportions too much, it stops being a Fury and becomes just another cruiser with a marketing story. Second, modern lighting is an easy win. LED lighting can be done in a way that still looks classic, and it improves visibility without turning the bike into a SCI-Fi prop. Third, ABS is a big deal in 2026. A lot of riders now consider ABS non-negotiable, especially on a street cruiser that might see rain. cold pavement, or unpredictable traffic. If you're shopping, this is one of the first boxes to check. Fourth little quality of life. Details matter: switch gear, feel, brake feel. The quality of the paint and chrome. And the way the bike sounds. Within modern regulations, of course. People buy a Fury with their eyes and ears as much as anything. So the sensory stuff has to hit. Now let's be honest about the trade-offs. Because every bike like this has them. Storage is basically not a thing unless you add it. That's chopper life. You can put bags on a Fury. And plenty of owners do, but the more you load it up, the more you move away from the clean, stretched look that makes it special in the first place. So you're choosing your priority style. Purity or practicality, wind protection is another one. On a naked cruiser with that riding position, highway wind is part of the experience. Some riders love it. Some riders do one long trip and immediately start looking for a windshield. There is no wrong answer. Just be real with yourself about how you ride. Cornering clearance is also not the Fury's main skill. You can absolutely ride it through twisty roads and have fun, but it's not a sport bike and it's not pretending to be. It prefers sweeping corners, steady throttle, smooth body position. If you're the rider who wants to attack tight switchbacks at full lean, there are better tools for that job. And then there's the beginner question. Is the Fury a good first motorcycle for most brand new riders? I'd say it's not the easiest place to start. Not because the power is uncontrollable, but because the bike is long and slow. Speed handling is where beginners struggle. If you're a new rider who's committed, willing to practice, and you take a rider course, it can be done. But if your goal is to learn as fast and as safely as possible, lighter and shorter tends to be kinder for everyone else. Returning riders, experienced riders, cruiser riders who want something different. The Fury can make a lot of sense. It's a cool bike that doesn't require you to suffer for it. And that's why people still care about it in 2026. Because right now, motorcycles are splitting into two extremes. On one side, you've got high-tech machines with screens modes, sensors, and complexity. On the other side, you've got bikes that try to be retro, but sometimes forget the reliability part. The Fury sits in a sweet spot. It looks like an attitude, but it behaves like a machine that was engineered, tested, and meant to be ridden. So here's the question I'll leave you with. Do you want a motorcycle that impresses people on the internet? Or do you want one that you actually look forward to, starting on a random Tuesday? Because the Fury at its best does both. It turns heads without being fragile. It feels like a custom without demanding a custom lifestyle. And it gives you that long, low, unapologetic chopper silhouette with Honda consistency underneath. If the Fury is truly back for 2026, whether as a continued model, a refreshed model, or a return, this is the kind of bike that doesn't need to win. On paper, it wins, in the parking lot, on the boulevard, and in that quiet moment when you walk into your garage and think, yeah, that's the one.